Hello foam flinging friends, this is Galaxy Creator here with a video on how to put together your Stinger variant NanoMag. And here's the two tools I prefer using, a flush wire cutter and pliers. Everything you need will be included. The O-ring will be inside its own plastic wrap inside the bag. Here's the bag as it will mostly look like when it arrives. Included is everything you need. Let's put aside the tools. Let's put aside the O-ring and put aside the modded Stinger. I'm gonna probably put out a separate video on how to take out the air restrictor. It is super easy, even simpler than a NanoFire. Here are all the parts laid out. There's the upper receiver. Here's the front sight. Here's the barrel. Here's the magazine well. Here's a bolt. Here's the bolt handle. The coupler. Oops, got away. A clip that won't be included. The rail and the rear sight. Okay, so now we're gonna take out the filament. This is what you're gonna use to connect all these parts together. To make it easier, make sure one of the ends is cut to an angle, not too sharp because you don't want to poke yourself. Alright, let's now put together the blaster. Let's put the front sight in first. We're gonna fill the front two pins. Just have it poke out just like barely any, and then cut it. Yeah, you want to see it just slightly in there, and then once you cut it, just push it through a little bit way, and that way you have nothing on either side. And do it again for the lower one. This one is very smooth and not always as smooth, which is why I have the pliers on standby. Yep, there you go. Push it through a little bit, and it shouldn't poke out at all. Alright, let's now put in the barrel. Sometimes I put in the barrel before I put in the front sight. It's up to you. Let's leave the bottom two open and let's take care of the top two. I'm gonna fast forward these bits at 3 times speed. Alright, the barrel is in, nice and sturdy. Next, we will add the Magwell. Make sure you line up the Magwell properly. We want all those holes to align. Once you put it in, you should be able to see through them. So let's do the front ones first. The back ones will connect to the coupler, but first, let's do these. Alright, let's test fit the Magwell. Oh, make sure you put mags in that angle and in the correct orientation. That should stay snugly in there. Alright, next we are going to put in the bolts. The bolt requires some finessing to get in there. And just make sure you angle it in properly, and then you push it in to slot into the barrel and slide it into one of the notches so it can stay in place. Let's put the bolt handle on first. If you're right-handed, you want it facing the left, and if you're left-handed, you want it facing the right. I'm right-handed, so I'm putting it on facing the left. Make sure that which other offhand you need. And this one's giving me some problems. So here I bring out the pliers. I usually just hold the pliers just a few millimeters away from the pinhole, and I force it in. Now, help. That seems to work better than further away. You definitely do not want to bend the filament, because then that's going to cause it to be weaker. Let's see if this hole is as ordinary as the other one. Yep. No, just got further enough in. get a bit more. And let's snip. These ones I don't really try to be fancy with. The flush wire cutters give them completely flat. Yeah, as you can see, you want to make sure it works. Next up, the coupler. Let's break out the O-ring. The O-ring will have some extra silicone grease on it when it arrives, so let's pull back the bolt all the way. Let's make sure there's no burrs on the side that will stop you from engaging the bolt. And now take the extra silicone grease on it and rub it on the back of the bolt. That way it gets the best seal it can get. Alright, now that that's done, let's fit the coupler in position. Make sure that the indent is pointed the right direction to the right, otherwise you'll get your NanoMag completely upside down. Alright, now lock the bolt in place, and let's feed in the filament pins, and you can go ahead and fill all 4 pinholes. Alright, now we can get the O-ring on. Either you can use your hands or try to use pliers. And pliers don't get you there, so I end up always just using my fingers. Push it in and lock it in place, and now we're ready to try to fit the stinger on. Alright, if you put the coupler on properly, you should just be able to put it in, put the barrel nub into the indent, like so, and you just rotate it in place, and technically you have a fully operational NanoMag. Alright, now we want to put on the rail. So we just need to push this forward and slide this in place. It should just fit right away. Just make sure that the back, that the front hole and the back holes align. You may have to drill out the back holes if you want to get both of them in. They should be in the right position, but this one is giving me some trouble. And you really want this one through all the way, because that's gonna keep the rail, and the rail is gonna keep the entire NanoMag system aligned with the blaster. And as you can see here, I'm having problems with the filament pins, so I broke out the old drill. Something like 2 millimeters or smaller would be fine. And now it's time to put the rear sight on. The filament pins for the rear sight are optional because the sight has a built-in notch that will cause it to stay in place. Here, just for completeness sake, I'm going to put just 1 filament pin in. And there you have it. A completed NanoMag. Yep, with the rail on, it's very sturdy. It's ready for some indoor can shooting or backyard plinking. And if I did my job properly, you should have, maybe not this much filament, but you should have some extra filament just in case you open it up and you lose some pins. Thanks so much for watching. You can favorite me on Etsy, be notified as soon as something new pops up. And follow me on Instagram. I post there often about work in progress pics and other things that interest me. But most importantly, if you run into any problems, do not be afraid of contacting me. Alright, see you in the next video.